Yo guys, namaskaram. So back with a video. I think a lot of things had been going on recently, a lot of discussions and things like that. But fundamentally, I just want to talk about a broad level system. So yesterday, I reacted on a video that how an IIT professor scammed like one of his students and is still eating money. So he's actually a very popular YouTuber. I didn't knew about it. You can check the previous reaction if you haven't checked that. If you want to check out the whole 1 hour 8 minute video, it's on his channel wherein he gives a lot of context. But then I started thinking about that, why is it that this country does not reward excellence? Why is it that makeshifts criminals are ruling us, exploiting, let's say, quote unquote, the middleman, the average man, and things like that? And you see this whole culture wherein Indian society just dims your inner light. As you age, you see that a lot of stresses take place. And the society is designed in such a way that they would want you to pick up more and more responsibilities as soon as possible so that the youthful energy or the peak that happens in your life that is just taken away from you. These are like very subtle tactics. Just to give you an example, let's say you are quote unquote filing your tax returns as a common salaried employee. The tax breaks that you would get on home loans, on family, child education are very broad, generally speaking. But let's say if you're a single individual, which is ecologically good for the planet, you're not causing a lot of, let's say, stress to the resources, then you would be punished and like in these weird ways wherein let's say you're paying more tax quote unquote. So a lot of us are not born average, but we are made or evolved into being, let's say, average. Every one of us comes with a unique DNA, unique seed of sorts. Robert Greene talks about it a lot in his book Mastery. But think about it. All of us waste our lives sitting in a cubicle to just chase approval of an idiot boss, of an idiot's mood, dictating our lives as per his whims and fancies. And we are just taught from early childhood in school to just speak meekly, shrink your voice so others feel comfortable around you. A lot of people go into patterns of people pleasing and things like that. But somewhere along the way, all of us have just learned to dim our own inner light. Not because, let's say, we are weak, but we are made to believe that we are weak. And the system around us is designed to reward obedience and punish any sort of individuality. And the worst part, slowly and steadily, a lot of people whom you consider as, let's say, quote unquote, your friends who would relate to you on an individuality just start cutting out because you're now not fitting into the social strata of their useless marriages, the useless relationships that they hold, and things like that. And it eats you very subtly. You don't realize it's happening to you, but it's like an insidious cancer sort of thing wherein these feelings are just bottled up inside your heart and you're unable to speak to uh, any person, no friends, or let's say no support system which can just understand these feelings. And being a male, it's also more worse because we are not taught to healthily express our own inner feelings and things like that. So let's talk about conditioning. From an early age it starts, particularly the whole schooling and education system. Now there are some merits to it, but a lot of things that we're taught in school, specifically you're like not walking in a correct cadence with your legs, your hair is a bit long, your nails are long, and all these bullshit things are enforced in the name of discipline. And we are not taught real life skills that okay, how to protect ourselves against scammers, how to take care of our mental health, how to take care of, let's say, oral health and things like that. All of these skills are just sidelined. All of us are just taught obedience and, if I can use this word in Hindi, chamchagiri. wherein you're just bowing to your teachers for no effing reason. Two teachers who have not done anything of worth in their lives, and then they are just talking to you, teaching you about the greatest of the greatest saints, a lot of, let's say, quote unquote, scientific models and whatnot, wherein they have just not understood any of those models themselves. So, think of it, in your childhood, you're very curious, you're asking questions, you're challenging things. And what do you hear? Don't talk too much, don't argue with elders. This is how the system has always been. Just do what you're told. It also exists in, you see manifestations of it in, let's say, so-called villages, wherein a lot of females were oppressed by, let's say, quote unquote, the caste system. They themselves become the advocates of the same system that oppresses them. That no, this is how the system is. Caste has been existing for so and so. But anyhow, that's a different topic. When coming back to the curiosity part, whenever you're curious, genuinely wanting to question things, understanding that why certain things work, slowly you're just being beaten, and your curiosity becomes silence, wherein you're just afraid to offend people. You become a sort of people pleaser. And what does our schools do? You're not rewarded for critical thinking, individual innovations. Even, let's say, the video which I made yesterday, you see some manifestations of it in colleges and universities. I'm sure a lot of things happen in a lot of colleges, and not a lot of people speak about it. But from school, you're just rewarded for memorizing, following the correct path, the correct answer, speaking the right talk. You're not rewarded for asking why is this specific thing working, what's the reason behind it, but you're just rewarded for repeating the what of things. That is, okay, this is how this happens, this is what would happen. A lot of people prepare for government jobs not because they genuinely want to change the system, but because they would have great incentives for corruption. They would have a sort of power in society to exploit other people. And you see, whenever we are preparing for these useless jobs, wasting our youth, people just are very dependent on the reward and what is it that they would get towards the end. If I tell you that there would be no reward, would you do it as from the center of compassion, from the center of spirit? Not a single person, I feel, or very few people would eventually opt for that specific job. So, from childhood, we are learning that fitting in is safer than standing out. It's the classic Japanese saying wherein the nail that struck out is the first to be hammered down. And once you compromise on that, slowly you start retracing your steps. You wouldn't take risks, and it's a very silent psychological game. And then you see this whole fear thing, the fear ecosystem, that there is no genuine power in our society. We like controlling people with fear. Some examples: log kya kahenge, the fear of failure, judgment, the fear of being rejected by, let's say, your so-called friends, so-called close circle, which is close in proximity but not genuine closeness from a heart perspective, just for being different. You don't chase your dreams because somewhere in your head there is this subtle voice saying that what if people laugh at me, what if I fail? And the weird part, it's not something that is your own inner voice. It's something that is being installed in you. You're being conditioned by the useless people around you. People who have no caliber on their own are talking to you about your own life, that this is how you should just work on certain things and things like that. Now, I do understand there are hard practical realities, people coming from poverty, not having enough food and things like that. But if you're watching this video and if you're understanding this language of English, I'm pretty sure that at least you would relate to this if, like, coming from a low middle class and things like that. But all of these beliefs are just installed in us by our family, by society, years of conditioning. And for our whole life, we start living for like this invisible society and audience sort of thing, which we won't even know exists. We don't even know that they would come in our own hard times and things like that. And then you see this whole culture of mediocrity is rewarded a lot. Useless songs, not any genuine depth filling true art, just useless rehashed useless lustful song wherein there's like these item songs. The so-called feminists are dancing with producing at least very close nudity or zero to close nudity, just having like two to three pieces of clothes, and then they're selling lust, they're like consciously objectifying themselves, and then like giving all this moralistic right talk about feminism and whatnot, pseudo feminism. But anyhow, coming back to the mediocrity part, excellence is not rewarded. Corruption, how much goon you are as a person, that is rewarded. And a sort of, you can say, predictable cadence wherein safe career, it's approved, check mark, government job, wow, you are like worshipped like a god. Risk taking, oh, you're criticized, what an idiot you are, people would laugh at you, and the whole system is such. Let's see, even if you want to serve the government of India and whatnot, like there's this age limit. Let's say people want to take risks in their youth, it's just discouraged. Let's say if someone even wants to serve with proper skill sets in their 30s to work for, let's say, quote unquote, the government, they cannot do that because there are like so many people we have to like filter out as per, like, the age perspective. That's why I feel that a lot of people think that their life ends at 30, wherein, as if you look at people from all across the world, I think still in their 30s 40s, people are just exploring things for themselves and just trying to figure out things for themselves. The moment you're trying something unconventional, you'll hear all these things don't work in India, ये सब इंडिया में नहीं चलता, be practical, XYZ का बेटा बेटी, look at them, don't go very high in life, it because essentially it would make them uncomfortable because of your ambition. And the weird part, if you are very successful, let's say, in your own so-called chosen path, it would be a statement on them because it would expose their own sense of stagnation through which they have been living their life, through this weird sense of scripting or conditioning, if I can use this term. And a lot of people would rather pull you down, the fucking crab mentality, rather than questioning their own life choices. And the whole ecosystem around social shaming, I talked about it in my previous videos, but it is used as this tool to control you. In many societies, failure is worn as a badge of honor, that okay, I at least fucking tried. There are like these scars on my chest and whatnot, but here failures are like knives. They're just stabbed into your heart, if I can use this term. Failure is like this public humiliation. If you fail, let's say, even if you have gap years in your career, from the corporate perspective, they would assume that you're just wasting your time, you're not doing anything productive. They don't care about mental health because, of course, we are too many. uh, a cheaper resource would always be available, a perfect by the line candidate. So if you fail, a lot of your so-called useless relatives will talk about you. Your so-called close friends, I would add that word in quotations, would start judging you, and society would start labeling you. What do you do because of all of this? You stop trying, you give up on yourself, you start playing safe, you shrink your dreams, you choose, let's say, security over growth. There's nothing bad with security, but the center from which we are choosing that is very important, because our society trains us to just dim our own courage, because we think that the cost of failure is like all this social capital loss, wherein if you're failing and people are genuinely exposing themselves to you, it should be taken as this sign that okay, these are all a-holes, I wouldn't want to associate with them, because in my bad times they wouldn't be with me. And then you see that because of all of this, a sort of contract is made between you and the so-called individual society. The contract is, we will only accept you if you stay within limits. Don't be too loud, don't be very ambitious, don't be too different or we'll delete you. Don't be too successful too fast. Of course, success takes a lot of time, but a lot of people also capitalize on showing you this weird sense of get rich with me quickly, fastly. But anyhow, you get the idea. Because see, whenever you break this unspoken contract, a lot of people get uncomfortable. They'll not say it directly, but they'll become passive aggressive with you. They'll start insulting you subtly. They'll try to pick up fights with you subtly. They would either try to distance themselves, or they would feel so envious and jealous of you that they would start giving you advices or outright try to confront you in weird ways. And slowly, because of all of this toll, because all of these things come from the people who are, let's say, close in our vicinity, not genuinely close to our heart. We assume that they are close to us as people, but the toll that it takes on our own sense of self-esteem is that we self censoring ourselves. Why does this happen? Because I feel this gift of youth, or this gift of life which comes for a lot of us with our unique talents and contributions in life, whatever we can contribute to the world, all of that is dimmed because most people never shown their own light for themselves, or they would just feel a very weird sense of insecurity. Because I've seen that a lot of quote unquote, let's say, even if a person wants to start fitness, I'm just talking from the perspective of a female or maybe a male as well. They want to start going to the gym in their late 30s, 40s, even 50s and 60s. I had reacted to certain videos. They are like thrown so many tantrums and made to feel this sense of I don't know, disgust, that what would happen if you're now going to the gym in your 50s, 60s, or even 40s. Life has gone past, now live with your life, focus on kids and whatnot. In reality, they procured that kids just to fit into that society, and those kids have become bondages for a lot of people, because later in life they see that the partner that I'm married to is not very compatible with me, and then all of that is translated into daddy issues, mommy issues, and whatnot. The children's self-esteem is just ruined for life. But anyhow, those people who try to demulate their own conditioning, their own sense or lack of courage, is something that they would just want to instill in you, that you should also become this lack of courage person, and they try to pull you back because it has become a pattern or an insecurity within them to just not see people happy. I remember hearing one thing wherein just as a social experiment, someone said that if you just go on the street, are very happy and just talking to everyone with a joyful face, you'll see people are staring you with big open eyes. They are unable to digest that how is he so happy and things like that, and something within them just irks when they see you, and they just try to dim all of that. So you see, I understand environment is very important, but the real danger is you giving up on yourself. I think a couple of practical insights would be all the bullshit that you see. I'm sure a lot of us also struggle with a lot of negativity. First is cutting the bullshit on the outside, and then whatever negative tendencies or thoughts you feel you have in your heart, in your mind, put them out on a piece of paper, introspect them, analyze them, and try replacing those seeds of thoughts. Because when you start thinking in this line of direction, that maybe I'm too much, maybe my dreams are a joke, maybe I should be realistic, That's how you dim your light slowly and steadily, and that's how it ends with this sense of self betrayal. So, I think my only message would be whatever things you want to do, no matter how hard they be, I know they are practical realities, but strategically, in whatever capacity you can go for your dreams, I think that's a good way, because there's just one life and there are like 8 billion people on this planet. Why do you want to be ruled by 20, 25, 30, or let's say even 1,000 people whom you follow on social media, whatever it is? See their realities and then just dim your own sense of light from comparison, subtle things, and you don't need permission to shine in your life. You just need to build systems for your own self that serve you. You don't need permission from any society, family, anyone. It's a hard fact that yes, you'll be judged if you're unmarried. Let's say I see a lot of people who are there in their 40s, unmarried, being judged by these so-called aunties whose only aim in life is just to become a tool in their households, and just shunning themselves. You know why gossip exists? Because these aunties have dimmed their own light, and that's the only thrill that they get in life. Females always want something happening for them so that they feel that sense of happiness or sense of purpose in their life. That's why they like gossiping. There's like different versions of peace, but in general. So it's okay to be misunderstood and judged by these people who have no caliber. Yes, a lot of them would talk, would try to bring you down, but consider it from this perspective that when you're 80, life goes like this. You'll turn 80. And when you're 80, do you want regret, or do you want a sense of you can say pride in your failed defeat? Even if you failed in your so-called pursuits, there would still be a pride that okay, at least I tried. So I think those were some thoughts which I wanted to put out. I have been talking to a lot of people struggling with a lot of negative issues. A lot of us struggle with a lot of these issues, but these are like some things that have been going on in my mind. I think life is genuinely a battle, but the choice that, do you want to fight the battle of Arjun from the center of truth, or do you want to fight the battle of Duryodhan from the center of falseness? That choice always exists. It's hard to make these choices, but whatever it is you want to do, go to gym and whatnot, whatever judgments people throw at you, it's just a reflection of their own insecurities. People laughing, let's say, at your own dreams, people claiming to be your friend and then laughing behind your back on tables. It just reveals about their own character. But yeah, I think those are some thoughts. Let me know what you feel about it. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, you stay awesome. Do write in the comment section what limitations have you broken, what type of work you have done, and I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, this is Debashish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers and bye.